Elias stood on the weathered porch of his farmhouse, the scent of fertile delta earth thick in the air. For 5 generations, the Holts had worked this land, and every scar on Elias's hands was a testament to that legacy. Now, a different kind of scar threatened, the Willow Creek Dam. Senator Marcus Thorne, impeccably suited and radiating practiced sincerity, stood before a handful of locals, his voice simplified by a portable sound system. "I give you my word, Elias," Thorne declared, pointing toward the sprawling fields. "This land is untouchable. The developers are greedy, but my commitment to my constituents is absolute. I need your vote. And in return, I promise, the dam dies." Elias, weary but hopeful, gave him his hand and his trust. It was a bargain built on sand. The ground was still damp from the recent spring rain when the first survey stakes appeared, followed rapidly by the clamor of heavy machinery. Elias learned the brutal truth from a cold, official notice. Thorne had not only failed to stop the dam, but he had personally pushed the necessary legislation through, receiving a 6-figure donation to a shadowy, non-existent future leadership fund in return. The money was untraceable, a perfect political ghost. The eviction was a day of silent horror. Elias watched his life packed into boxes, the memory of his grandfather teaching him to plow dissolving as the reservoir waters began to creep across the lower 40 acres. The betrayal was absolute. It wasn't just a farm. It was the theft of his future. The soil, which had always given him life, was now swallowing it. Elias left, not with tears, but with a cold, clear purpose, to plant a seed of destruction in Marcus Thorne's career, a harvest of ruin far more bitter than any drought. He traded his worn overalls for anonymous city clothes, moving into a cramped apartment near the state capitol. Elias wasn't equipped with a lawyer's brief or a journalist's contacts. He only had the farmer's patience. He spent months lurking on the fringes of Thorne's world in coffee shops where aides gossip, in dusty public records archives, and watching the loading dock of Thorne's campaign headquarters. He meticulously tracked every missed tax filing, every dubious vendor, every late-night visitor to the senator's sealed office suite. The work was agonizingly boring, a slow, methodical scrape against political titanium. The breakthrough came in the form of a forgotten, abandoned satellite office, cleared out hastily for a rent increase. A small, worn leather-bound book had slipped between the back of a filing cabinet and the wall.
It was too small to be a formal ledger, but too dense to be a diary. Inside, Elias found handwritten notes spanning 2 decades, detailing payments, shell company transactions, and political favors meticulously recorded in code by Thorne's former, now deceased, chief of staff. The entry marked was the clincher, 600K received, full approval granted, Elias Holt parcel annexed. The Thorne Ledger was less an accounting book and more a confession. Elias, utilizing a single burner phone and an encrypted drop, fed the ledger's most explosive pages to 2 local investigative reporters with a guarantee of anonymity. The timing was everything. Thorne was hosting his final, massive, televised pre-primary gala, a monument to his perceived invincibility at the city's grandest hotel ballroom. As Elias watched a live stream on a cracked phone screen in his truck, Thorne, bathed in golden light, raised a champagne flute to a cheering crowd. To integrity, Thorne bellowed, to the people's trust. At that precise moment, the network cut away. The screen split, Thorne's smiling face on one side, and on the other, a stark, clear image of the ledger's key page. The news anchor, serious and somber, began to detail the systematic corruption and specifically, the raw political transaction that destroyed Elias Holt's farm. The sound from the ballroom feed abruptly changed from applause to a confused, rising murmur. Thorne's confident smile melted into a look of pure, gut-wrenching realization. He saw his carefully constructed world collapsing in real time. Elias extinguished the phone screen, plunging the cab into darkness. The dam was built, the farm was submerged, and the rich, black soil was lost forever. But the true act of planting had been done in the political landscape. He had not sought revenge for emotional satisfaction, but for consequence. Thorne had sown greed and deceit. Elias, the displaced farmer, had ensured that he reaped the whirlwind. The land was gone, but the ledger remained as Thorne's tombstone.